A lot of it, like I said, was about pushing people away, about masking my own pain, about not dealing with bullies or different challenges head on. I was trying to get away. And it's funny, Carolyn, because every time I went away from a problem, a new one just kind of appeared out of nowhere. And
Yeah.
every time there's been a problem, I've kind of always been there. I was like, dang, like, how did I wind up in this problem room again?
This is the Your Next Success podcast, and I am your host, Dr. Carolyn Sengel. I am a life-first career coach and strategist on a mission to normalize questioning your career. We explore how to build a career that truly fuels your life. And you will hear stories from people who have navigated big career transitions themselves, so you can create a life-first career and become your own version of authentic success, one that is aligned, meaningful, and truly yours. Alex Dumas is a keynote speaker, MC, and author who helps leaders find the confidence to perform when the pressure is highest. Before he stepped onto the stage, he invested years in caregiving, sales, learning how people hold themselves together under pressure. He is also the author of Win from Within, a book on leading from inner stability. In this conversation, you'll hear how Alex's journey through reinvention, belonging, and self-discovery led him to redefine success, find where he truly belongs, and build a life rooted in being fully himself. Alex Dumas, welcome to Your Next Success. I'm so excited to be talking with you today.
No, not as excited as I am to speak with you, Carolyn. Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, so we are going to get to all the amazing work that you do today. We'll get to that, including the, world-renowned author, amazing speaker, MC, fabulous,
Keep going.
fabulous person.
Don't let me stop you.
We're going to get to all that. Coach, amazing mentor to many, friends to even more. So we'll get to that. And I love dialing it way, way back. So can you help us understand, where were you born? What was life like for the very youngest little Alex?
Oh gosh, yeah, if we're gonna take it all the way back. So I was born in this wacky place called Brooklyn, New York. So whoop whoop, Brooklyn in the house, as they say. But I got the Long Island experience. My parents moved to the suburbs when I was about 4 years old. I'm the youngest of four, to be exact. So I like to say that my parents saved the best for last, which is true.
Same.
But
they didn't need to have any more kids after me.
they were just
Or
like,
you.
they're like, you know what? This is as good as it gets. Like, I think we got it. Like, we had three already, right? My sister, my older brothers. They're like, this one right here, this is David.
Perfection.
In the statue. They sculpted and found me. But no, all jokes aside, yeah, growing up in my household is wild. If anybody who's watching, if you know about Haitian people from the West Indies, we are an interesting breed of folk. We are very blunt and direct and loud, party hard. We celebrate and we also have our own challenges, as anybody out there does. Growing up, I always felt kind of in between with things because I'm the youngest of four, but the closest sibling in age to me was 6 years apart. So I'm going to middle school, they're in high school. All right, I'm in high school, they're in college. I'm in college, they're out of the house. So I'm always kind of like just out of step, you know what I mean? Just like out of sequence with them. And at school, I was kind of hard to imagine. I wasn't the class clown, right? I was a goofball, always disrupted in class. So for my own purposes, right? I loved an audience, so I got to get the next laugh, right? It's chasing the next high, got to get that next laugh, the next laugh. And that really was my way of kind of keeping people at arm's length because I was really insecure as a kid, not very confident in myself. Like I mentioned, just kind of feeling out of place, not really sure where I belong. And the things I found to entertain myself were music, writing a lot. Loved the wrestling, like watching, like, back in the days, right? Back in my day, it was WWF, not WWE. So I was watching all these things on the weekends, mimicking moves with my brothers and my cousins, and just being a kid. And I love football, love sports, and that's kind of where I started to develop like that identity for myself. Like, oh, I love competition, I love combat, I love contact and tackling people. And football was the thing that kind of brought me back to life because I was just not just drifting along, not really having a purpose. And with that love of football, I retired at the ripe age of 15, Carolyn, because I decided, you know what, I'd rather do drugs than do sports. So sorry to all the dare parents out there. It didn't work for me. Hopefully it works for your youngin, but it did not work for me. I made my own choices, but that's part of, low self-esteem, trying to fit in with a crowd, trying to be something you're not. And that created a lot of years of misery, of mistrust with people, of just being a knucklehead, for lack of a better word, and figured out my way out.
Firstly, thank you for sharing all of that. I'm a firm believer that everybody's got different journeys, different things that happen, some to them, some for them, but I know you're an amazing, remarkable human. And so however your story is, it is. That's part of what's made you who you are. And thank you for, for having this be a safe enough space to just share. I want people to be authentic, and no one's journey has been linear, stellar, every
Yeah.
step amazing. There's highlights and there's things that we wish we could do differently.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, what did your parents do for work?
They're both in the medical field. So my mother was a nurse. My father worked for a hospital in the nuclear medicine department.
Oh, wow.
They're pretty smart, and education, for anybody who's got West Indian folks, it's pretty much the same playbook of like, you go to school, you get your good grades, you graduate, you get a job, you get married, you die, and then rinse and repeat.
I mean, well, sometimes you have kids in between there.
So somewhere in there you
Sometimes.
have kids, you get like you get one of the pocket phones, right? You start wearing like goofy clothes, you wear the white New Balances and all, like, anyway,
That was the thing.
but they emphasize education a lot. They were really big into that, and they both immigrated to the States from Haiti. My mom in the late 60s, my father got here in the early 70s. They met, married, kids. That's the story.
And when you were really little, what did you think that success meant? Or what did you think it would be like to be a successful? Was that on your radar, or were you too busy getting attention and being the clown,
Yeah, I think the attention for me was like the laugh-o-meter, right? Like the more laughs I get, the crazier I would act, and it would just charge up. And it was funny because, I was third grade and I got a progress report home. So, the teacher writes, doing well, progressing, or maybe needs some more help, struggling, whatever. And it was a good report card. At this time, I was a good student. I wasn't always a great student. I was too busy talking to be listening or paying attention or writing notes. But I remember the teacher writing, Alex is really good. He's a great student. He's doing really well, but he's disturbing class a lot. He's talking a bit. And my mom, like, I knew she meant this like as a jest, like, because that's how we are. We like rib at each other. She's like, "Oh, you talk?" I was like, "Oh," like, but I shared it because at home I was really quiet. I was really to myself. I would describe it as really cold because I don't know. I didn't like feeling smothered. I like my own freedom. I like just to do what I wanted to do. And, my parents, love them, God bless them. But like, this is the way it is. This is what we say. This is what you're doing.
Kind of like maybe a little more structure, I don't know if strict is the right word, but definitely disciplined, and like, maybe you just weren't going to bother questioning because you learned it just isn't going to be helpful.
Hey, you go to church on Sundays, you do your chores, you go to school. If you have some free time, you play a little bit, but that's it. You do your part.
And so from your young mind, you're like, okay, I guess success would mean getting married, having a family, and everybody just falling in line, and we'll be good then.
I mean, that's the thing you do, right? It's what I see my uncles, other cousins, like, just you follow the assembly line.
And so at some point you're like, you find football, and that's kind of a fun reprieve for a while.
Yeah.
And then those teenage years hit, and you're looking to belong. Next thing you know, you start making friends who aren't friends, or what? Like, tell more about that. Like, how did that go down? Because, it seems like sometimes it's just like one little decision, and next thing you know, what happened, At the time, it's like, oh, just one decision. It's one time, one thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a buildup of like all these years, right? Of like a young age, really, my mind was set like, oh, I don't fit anywhere, I don't belong, right? That's the story that I carried as really starting as like old as 6, like, hey, I don't really belong anywhere, I don't really fit in, and carrying that for years and years and years, and then, ooh, this makes me feel kind of better. I feel kind of good here. I get to like escape for a while. I want to,
Mm.
you know what, stay escaped. Like you say, like
Yeah.
you want to belong. Well, I was being lost and I liked it, and I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to be found. And yeah, it started off as just like, curiosity, right? I love this quote from Alice in Chains, right? The late singer Lane Staley. He wrote, "I used to be curious, but now it's sheer sustenance," right? And he was really
Ah.
open about his drug use and all that. And I always latched onto that line because, like, yeah, that's kind of how it started. People were like, oh, that's the gateway. No, it's not. Yes, it is, because
Yeah, yeah.
my gateway led me into like, all right, I want to do this every day. I want to get high every day, right? And that's where I really learned about like that power of like intention, right? Of how it can work for you and how it works against you. When you're addicted to something, when you have a substance dependency, it doesn't matter what happens, right? Rain,
Yeah.
snow, or shine, I got to get that next thing. I don't have any money. Well, somebody else has money. I can go take it from them. That's a great idea. Let's do that. All right, there's lockers here. There's stuff in, going back to high school, right? There's my routine would be, all right, where there's athletes, they would throw all their bags like in like this main area. I'll just go to the bag, get what I want, and leave. And that was a very simple system. I was really smart at, all right, there's the system here. I make sure I plant my lieutenants around to look out for me. We split and we go on with their day. And
Mm.
that was just kind of the routine for years. But a lot of it, like I said, was about pushing people away, about masking my own pain, about not dealing with bullies or different challenges head on. I was trying to get away. And it's funny, Carolyn, because every time I went away from a problem, a new one just kind of appeared out of nowhere. And
Yeah.
every time there's been a problem, I've kind of always been there. I was like, dang, like, how did I wind up in this problem room again? Like, well, maybe there's something to it. Maybe there's one common element, there's one denominator here that's a cause. But it took a while to figure that out.
How did you start to figure that out? Or did your parents realize how, because if they're so busy
Hmm.
working and doing all the right things, and as kids start to become teens and they don't ask for as much, it's just kind of easy to be like, I guess we're good. All right, you going to school? Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
school. Everything's good. You're good. Okay. But like, when did they notice, or how did that happen?
All right, so we talk about discipline, right? So when I was 15, this is actually right before the end of the playoff season for our high school team, and we had been very good team, undefeated, kicking teams' butts by like 20, 30 points, all that kind of stuff. The week of our championship game, I actually wound up getting suspended for school because I got caught smoking a cigarette in the bathroom, and my parents had to come pick me up. This is like early in the morning, like 9:30, so they're not happy about this at all. And I remember, we're in the principal's office. They take me out to the car, right? I'm suspended for 2 days, whatever. And my mom just goes to work on me. She's laying hands on me in the parking lot. This is the morning, right? This is 9 a.m. in the morning. I remember like all the building, like it's glass. Like, so all my friends are seeing this like,
Oh,
oh no. So first day I'm back, just like, man, people got like ice packs, they got bandages, like they're giving me the business, like, yo, man, you all right? Like, should we call somebody? Blink twice if you need help. I'm like, y'all,
oh,
well played. Yep, yep, yep. But they never the thing with my family, my parents, they never really addressed it or never really confronted me about it. It was just like, all right, you made a bad decision. That was it. But I think in a sense, like that was kind of like my cry for help to them. Like, hey, like see me, like I'm
yeah.
struggling right now, but I don't know how to communicate that to you. All right, they don't care. I guess I don't care either. So now that was like the floodgates. Like, all right, we're now full force. Let's try everything and anything we can get our hands on. And that was the goal for the next few years.
Wow. And then what happened? How long did that kind of go on?
Through college, it really ended. in 2006, which was a really amazing year for me because that was the year that I met this young lady in December 2005, but then in January '06, we became official, like a real couple. And
All right.
she was a real catalyst for getting me back on the right track.
Okay, so but then in high school, how
Yeah.
did you decide that you even wanted to go to college? I mean, was that or was it just like that's an expectation, you got to go to
Yeah.
college, so I guess you're going to go. But then what did you even choose to want to try to study?
Yeah, it was definitely just an expectation. Like, this is what we do. Like, my brothers and my sister had gone to college, graduated. So there's no argument about it. So I started off in community college because my grades were just, crap. And I did an associate's there. Then I graduated with a psychology degree. And part of that was looking to be a teacher at some point. I earned several master's credits from this university, which no longer exists on Long Island. So even if I wanted to try to like finish up, it doesn't exist anymore. But I was going for special education and elementary education as my major. And it was really through college that I wound up in the field of nonprofit management, working with special needs individuals. That was my really first real line of work for close to a decade of working with
How
this
did that
population, opening group
Yeah,
homes. Yeah.
how did that become on your radar?
Psychology, I think, was the thing that I gravitated to because I was trying to answer the question, like, what's wrong with me?
But like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I'm thinking about logically, like on paper, everything is great. I mean, I'm an able-bodied man. I've got a great family. There's no abuse. There's nothing crazy in our family. Like I'm living a pretty much a regular middle, suburb life of, barbecues on the weekend, pool here, and go to a friend's house, ride my bike, right? No real imminent dangers, no gunshots, there's no gang violence really around. And yet I'm miserable. I'm unhappy. Like something's not, the math isn't math. And like, what's the thing underneath
Yeah.
all of this?
So psychology became an interest, but then how did special ed or how did that become an interest?
Yeah, it really just came about through this job. So my final year of college, I'm like, man, I got to make some money. I got to figure some things out. And I landed a job with this organization that houses special needs individuals. So the unit that I was assigned to had 10 residents, but these are all gentlemen ranging from like 14 to like 27, autism, cognitive impairment, cerebral palsy. And most of the time they had very challenging physical behaviors. So punching, biting, kicking, spitting, you name it, I've received all of it. And I think it was just like the first thing I fell into, but as challenging as it was also exciting for me to like work with these individuals, help them with their daily living activities, trying to teach them things, take them out into the community, help them with their finances and paying for things, and just getting to see them do more things independently. And I think that's what kind of drove me and kind of seeing myself do them, because I always felt like an underdog or overlooked or underappreciated. So you have these people here who have been really discarded, right? You could physically see like the how different they are from other people. It's like, people like stare, gawk, look at them, or like shy away. Like, it's like, you don't understand them. I got to know these gentlemen. I got to be with them
Yeah.
day in and day out through holidays. Some of them, their families aren't as involved, and those were tough ones because you can see that they know what's going on, right? This person's going away for the week and I'm here. Like, nobody cares about me. So I think I found some kinship with them in that regard.
You saw the beauty of the person beneath any behaviors that they were displaying.
Yeah.
Like you saw through the stuff that other people made them shy away or made them scared. You saw through that and you're like, no, I see this beautiful person here.
Yeah.
And I want to do what I can to help this person have a nice day. And
Yeah.
and we can have a good time together. And I don't know, after they got to know you, did they have less behaviors or they still ended up?
It gave me a great lens of like looking at like what it's like to set the scene, right? And just not to be perfect, but trying to make less variations of things. Because like something changes, that throws somebody off, it now it puts them in a mood, right? And it could be the simplest thing. It could be I didn't cut the corners of this sandwich, or I didn't lay out this particular outfit. They didn't like these colors, right?
Yeah.
But you get to know that over time, and I think it became easier because like you get to know like, all right, these are like the trigger things. So I constantly constantly aware of like, all right, watching, observing, and even when stuff had to go down, they rip a shirt of mine, scratch me, punch me. All right, you got to be a professional. You can't take it personal. It's like, okay, reset. You're here to service them as almost like a client, right? You're taking care of them. You're a caretaker of them. So if this was someone in my family, would I want to treat them would I want to treat them in a different way? Like, no, I'm going to be with them. And we have lots of fun, right? They my guys would always maybe laugh, we crack up. We have a good time, especially the ones especially like the guys who are nonverbal, because like there's all these little tics, all these little cues, these little things that they do. And it's the funniest things because like they start opening up and they'll have kind of like this twinkle in their eye about something, or they're like about to do something, like, some of them had strict diets. So they can't eat, all these sugary things.
Yeah.
I remember this one time, we usually like lock up stuff in the pantry so people don't food steal. I hate to say it like that, like you keep the food away so they don't steal, but like it's for their diet and it's for their health. So one person forgot to lock this door, and I just remember I didn't see him, but like I felt like the wind pass by me in the room. I just felt like somebody sprint. I was like, what the heck? And these are the things in these types of roles where if you suspect something, like you better go follow up like ASAP. It's not one of those things you pass the book like, oh, well, I guess nothing's happened, just my imagination. It's like, no, I got to investigate. And I see my man in the pantry, and he's going to work on these cookies. I mean, he is. And then you gotta keep a straight face. I want to die laughing off the top of it because it's the craziest look. Like he's in there for 2 seconds and he's like Hannibal Lecter with cookie crumbs on his face. And it's like, all right, come on, redirecting him to go out this way. Use your your communication device. Like, I want cookies, or I want this, right? Like, point it out. So you get to turn those things into teaching lessons, but you also have to remain in the moment of knowing you can't black out like, hey, what is wrong with you? And now I've escalated something where I could have redirected and just been like, okay, we're going to get out of here. Tell me what you want, and give them the opportunity to make the dignity of making that request and not feel like, all right, you're wrong for taking. Yeah, you did wrong. Like, you and I know you did wrong. Now let's make it right. Let's regroup.
That had to be great, like pre-training for parenting.
Jeez.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I didn't learn those. I would be the one yelling that you did something wrong. If the kid would only have had they wanted cookies, or they wanted whatever the thing. It was just like, man, if only I could have worked in a group home, then perhaps I may have gotten better skills.
Well, again, but you could fall in love with the people. The families were really supportive. They're always grateful for the work that we did, because it is tough work. So anybody who's in that direct support professional role, anyone who's a caretaker, my heart goes out to you. If you're a teacher, I'm team you, because it's not easy.
So at one point of time, you meet this beautiful young lady. Is that who became your wife, or just a random beautiful?
Yeah. Booed that thing up.
So she inspires you to be a better person, or you just decide you want to be a better person to be that person for her. But how'd y'all meet?
Oh gosh. So have you ever heard of this thing called MySpace?
Yeah.
At this point, this is December 2005. This is my last year in college. And as I said, on paper, things are going well. I've got a job. I've got a car. I'm getting set to graduate in the spring. But I'm also a mess. I'm still using drugs. I'm an addict. I'm just depressed. I'm in my world. I'm just in the cyber world. So this is like the bloom of YouTube and chat rooms and all this stuff. So I'm just spending my days like trying to be a Mac daddy online. That's the best way I could put it. And I come across this young lady's profile who's friends with another friend of mine. And I did what most suburban hood boys do. I went straight into the DM, right? Not even, no etiquette at all. And I just typed her 3 words. I said, "What up? Nice pics." Not even
That was
what's up,
it?
because I'm from New York. Right? We have to condense it. What up? Like WADDUP. What up? Nice pics. And somehow she responds back. And it's like, we exchange AOL buddy information. I know this is like the corniest thing in the world. And she actually lived like the next town over from me. Like she's like less than 10 miles away.
Oh, wow.
And she reaches out to me one night. She's like, "Hey, I'm bored. Want to take me out?" I'm like, "All right, sure, whatever." And like we go see King Kong, the movie, like with Jack Black. And that was our first date. Then we hung out some more. And then in January, I was like, "All right, I guess, it's us now." And that we had hung out. I walked into her door. So I walk into the door, and I think we both kind of sensed like something different was about this night. Cause like, first of all, I never did that. We had we had literally sat in my car for like 4 hours just talking, talking. And then I made my move. I stepped on her foot and I smooched her. So Sarah always joked, like, "You never actually officially asked me out." I was like, "Yeah, I just took you. I'm a caveman. Like, you, me, woman now, me step on foot." And it's been us ever since.
Oh, wow. She has a lot of grace, right? To answer the what up and to see past the you stepped on her foot.
Yeah.
And yet, hey, it's 20 years later. So
It was an accident.
My cat does that when she thinks she doesn't want me to move away. Like she puts her paw on my foot, like I can't move.
Oh, you're here forever. Right?
Exactly.
You can't leave me.
All right. So now how did that progress then? Then you graduate college and then
Yeah.
what happened? Now you have this, beautiful lady that you want to spend the rest of your life with. At what point did you know?
She tells me like, "Yeah, I pretty much knew like within the first month, like, yeah, I think I might be with this guy for a while."
Ah.
And, as guys, we're like, "What?" Whatever. That's cool. But so yeah, that's in 06. 07, we wound up moving in together, and gosh, those stories, those first apartments are like, oh man, just 2 young kids, not in. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. Of like not anybody who's ever moving out of your parents' house, make sure you look really thoroughly where you're moving into. Just open the kitchen cabinets. I'm gonna just put it that way.
Imagine what your life would be like if your career aligned with who you are, what you do best, and actually fueled the life you want. At Next Success, we support all ages and stages through career transitions, from students exploring majors or careers to job seekers actively searching or reimagining their next move to professionals committed to self-awareness and leadership growth. Stay connected and explore what's possible at nextsuccesscareers.com and follow Next Success Method on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Was the rent affordable?
We're living in the basement of someone's house, right? That's how we do in New York. And we have these wonderful little bugs with us that we just missed, or we didn't open, like, you know what I mean? We didn't do the thorough research. But yeah, I proposed to her in December of 07. And then we set the wedding for our anniversary day, January 9th in 2010. So we got together on 06, married on the same day. So fellows out there, if you're thinking about marrying your lady, see how you can leverage one day. I'm not the smartest in the room, but like there's a couple of moves that I made and I'm like, bro, Einstein has got nothing on me.
You don't have to remember but one day. That's pretty good.
After college, I was pursuing my master's, so I was still in school for the next year and a half, working at different special needs providers, and that was what the work was for a while. And then I switched into disaster recovery. In New York, we had this storm called Sandy, Superstorm Sandy.
Yep.
So I was part of that rebuilding effort of helping out homeowners, and I wound up getting laid off from that. And this is kind of tying back into the creation of me as who I am now in front of you, right? Speaker, MC, all this kind of stuff. Because 2015 was what I would describe as like the year from hell, where, again, gave you like a spoiler alert already that I got fired that year. But if we want to rewind time before that, that was in July. I got laid off. In April that year, my son was born on a Wednesday. So yay, hey, woohoo! I achieved the dream of 2 kids, a wife, Long Island, dogs. Like, life is good. I got the stamp.
Yeah.
3 days after I wake up to a voicemail from my dad. You know, after midnight. Usually there's no good messages after midnight. There's no good phone calls after midnight, and he lets me know that my mom had passed during the night. It's like, oh, ouch. It wasn't unexpected. It wasn't a sudden thing. Her health had rapidly declined like 6 months prior, where she fell and broke her leg. She fell again, broke her hip, had strokes. I mean, it was just like a crazy 6 months of just decline. So now coming back to July 2015, right? Grieving son, unemployed, exhausted, emotionally unavailable for my wife, for my rising kindergartner daughter, and I'm trying to build a business at this time.
How did you decide, where did that I want to build a business even come from?
So we rewind time again, right? October of 2014 was a crazy month between my mom having her fall and my wife and I learning that we were going to have our baby boy. And fear is a great motivator. I'm like, I got to do something. I got to make some more money. I'm working my full-time job, but I got an extra mouth to feed in a few months. So what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Hey, there's this opportunity my cousin shared with me like a couple months before that. All right, let me go take a look at it. Let me see if it's for me. It was financial services and the insurance realm, training agents, booking people, recruiting, all that kind of stuff. And I didn't listen to my spidey sense. I don't think it's really gonna be for me, but fear being the driver, all right, I just got to do it. I just got to go all in and I was doing all right, but all of these circumstances, I was just emotionally spent, and there was no time off, right? There was no time to lick my wounds. It's like the show goes on. You got a newborn, you got a kid, you have your wife who's recovering, like time to get on the field. There's no time. And God gave me time because that crashed and burned, but it wound up being the best thing for me because the year after 2016, now for you who are following along, I tuck my tail in, go back to corporate, but that job introduced me to this line of work of speaking, of coaching, of personal development, because that was their target market as a payment processor. So I got to go to conferences. I got to survey websites all day, talk to these people, prospect them, respond to inbound leads, and just going to these conferences. I'm like, this is what I want to do, right? Seeing people sell from the stage. People are making more in a weekend than I'm making in a year. I'm like, I can't figure out how do they do that?
So you show up at the conference as a vendor, sort of like you're working a booth, offering a job that you don't even like, that you're doing because you have to have mouths to feed and you're trying to be an adult, but yet you see the other side of the table, all these other coaches and all of that as that. It's happening for you, not to you, but you just didn't know how that puzzle piece was fitting in at that time.
I mean, it happened the way it was meant to happen. And I was just like fascinated. I'm like, man, I gotta learn about this stuff. And I shared that. That's 2016. It's not really until 2022 where I get on the field, so to speak, and MC an event and speak for the first time in front of like live people. And whatever that thing was, that spark I had as a youth when football showed up in my life, like that thing came roaring back. I'm like, this is what I know I can do this. And I think that's like one of the first real experiences I had of feeling like kind of uncaged, unleashed, but like really sure of myself. Like, I can do this. This is easy. I know how to be with people, mobilize a room, and keep things going. So I'm like, I got to learn how to do this. And it's been a pursuit ever since, whether it's been joining Toastmasters or National Speakers Association Carolina chapter, or talk it out community, just being in the mix of leaders like yourself who I always take something from, right? I'm like, oh, I like how they did this. I like how they said that. All right, how do I incorporate that into what I do? Or is there room for that? Is there space for that?
So when did you go from corporate Alex to going all in on independent business solopreneur Alex?
Yeah, that came about, I would say probably, is it 2020? Yeah, I think in 2020, I was still working a corporate job, and we had obviously had to switch to remote. And I was working for a coach. Actually, let me just tie this all in together. So the first conference that I ever went to on behalf of that sales job, it was for this coach who lives out in North Carolina, and they were our biggest vendor. So, we represented for the company's behalf. And they were the person who was making this offer, this 5-figure offer for a year-long program. I'm like, wow, gee golly, this is so cool. And then I wound up working for her company a couple of years later. So,
Wow.
like I said, their business model were live events. So fall event, spring event, 300, 400, 500 people, you name it, pack them in the room, sell courses and keep them moving. We went to this virtual option, because of COVID. And I realized, like, I don't think I can do this. Like, I had my kids with me at the time. They're 5 and 3, 5 and 9. Yeah. I'm like, I can't even do math right now. But yeah.
All right.
So doing that, I'm ignoring them all day because I got to be glued to the computer. Like, I feel like I'm wearing like Depends. Like, I can't pee. I got to be here, be the MC and direct people to different rooms. And that was kind of that real confirmation that this is not going to work, right? Because who knows when these kids are going back to school. I'm also trying to homeschool them at the same time.
Yeah.
That's why I say with teachers, whatever they need, get them 5 figures, get them 6 figures, get them 7. Like, they've earned every penny, because I love my babies and I was ready to throw them to the wolves.
And you had special skills. You had already developed special skills working with those guys before.
Yeah, but too. I can imagine 25 Rugrats who are not my own. Like, Lord, give me strength, serenity now, because these children are going to drive me crazy. So yeah.
Did you start building your own thing before you left your stable thing, or did you go all in? Like, where was the final corporate? That's it. Was it by choice or by force?
Yeah, that was it. It was by choice, because it didn't make sense for me to do this anymore. Of going to this place I did not particularly enjoy, to do work that I wasn't really thrilled about. And, a couple of years before that was where I started doing more coaching, like in 2018, podcasting. And I thought, hey, let's go. Let's give it a go. Let's give it an honest go. And let's see what happens.
Wow. That's cool.
Crazy talk.
Crazy talk. So how did you get involved, or how did you find out now wanting to, you saw some of the speakers, and you mentioned Toastmasters and of course National Speakers Association North Carolina chapter, which is how I met you. But how did you even come across those sorts of places that help people be better speakers?
I knew about Toastmasters for a while, but I was never able to make it out to meetings back in New York. We moved to North Carolina in 2017. So I always wanted to join it, but it just never worked out timing wise. And then I found this group in downtown Raleigh, High Noon. So shout out to High Noon Toastmasters, whoop, whoop, in 2022. But that actually came about from a virtual meetup where I met a couple of people who were in that club, and also met this guy. His name rhymes with Larry Long Jr. On LinkedIn. So Larry had, had dropped the seed about NSA Carolinas. I didn't really know what National Speakers Association was about. So I think just from him planting that seed, and then, just being in the mix with other speakers, growing, developing, and getting more active on LinkedIn, starting to see that name here and there. And I don't remember what it was that maybe like initially signed up. I think I was just like, I think if I want to go pro, I just got to go where the pros are. And I didn't even, I didn't really know about NSA Carolinas. I I didn't attend any meetings prior to it. I didn't go to any second
Yeah.
Saturday meetings. I was just like, looked on the website. Okay, I'm going to just go and register. And that was in January 2024. And I didn't really do much with my membership probably the first 8 or 9 months. I've attended a couple of virtual meetings, and maybe I'd went to one second Saturday, and then one day, I think it was last year in 2025, Larry asked me to cover for him one day. I'm like, all right, yeah, sure, I'll cover for you. And I told this at the last one I just hosted for y'all, but I'll share with the audience now. You get to be in the room a little bit. So we have an annual banquet for NSA Carolinas every year in June. So last year, June 2025, we're having the banquet. You know, everybody's celebrating, you know, all this stuff. I come back, my wife is like, where the hell were you? I'm like, what did I do? They were looking for you. Like, who, like, do I owe money? Like, you know, like paranoid New York minds going, oh man, they found me. Like, what? But she's like, no, they said your name. They shouted you out. I'm like, for what? And so Larry puts it back on the screen, like, shout out to our area champion, Alex Dumas. I'm like, I only helped you out once. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is what my mind is saying. Like, oh, okay, thank you, Hercules. Like,
Yeah.
and then they pulled me in. They're like, hey, how'd you like to host these meetings for the next year for our chapter? All right, sure, game on. And as we're recording this, I have completed my reign as the area champion, and it goes to show, it proves, you know, what Larry is preaching, what I'll preach as well, as far as, you know, groups that you're a part of, associations, memberships. The more you actually put in, the more you actually get out of it, right? And I know it sounds corny, oh, that's so cliche, but I am just sharing from my experience. The more involved I was, people recognize my name, shout you out, you know, that's all good. And you also get some of the other perks as far as like, all right, when someone's looking for somebody, I'm kind of a name they drop first. Okay, that's kind of cool. I get to be the belle of the ball to a degree. And it's not like I did it for, it's just, I wanted to serve. I wanted a way to contribute. And when you lead from that space, then you get to win.
It's been awesome. I mean, I joined on New Year's Eve, I think, because I had interviewed somebody who's very involved in NSA in Ohio, Natalie Siston. She was also part of Positive Intelligence, PQ, Mental Fitness, Mental Resilience, one of the programs that I brought into my method. And so I had seen her on some different webinars for that program. I invited her as like, hey, would you like to be on my podcast? And of course, my podcast was like, it's been almost a year now, a little over a year now. But like I had, and she said yes graciously. And then she was like, oh, wait, you're in North Carolina. You should join NSA. And she said that. And I was like, okay, all right, but what is NSA, right? And then she was traveling in between Christmas and New Year's. They have a daughter that's getting ready to be college age. Her husband is a professor at Ohio State. So like, why do you need to take your kid on college tours? But okay. So she takes her kid on college tours and she's like, I'm going to be in North Carolina. Would you be able to meet up? And I'm like, that's next level human right there.
Yeah.
You're taking your family on a trip and you're going to meet up with people that you know that you've met virtually and you're inviting them to come out and meet you and your family on, I think it was New Year's Day. Okay.
Dang.
And so I decide I'm going to go meet her and her family. And then I was like, well, dang, I can't go show up and meet Natalie and tell her I didn't join NSA. So I go to join on New Year's Eve because I'm starting my new year off right. And when she says, did you look into NSA? I could truthfully be like, yes, I did. And I go to meet up and it's like, I didn't ask. I just thought, but you know, he's done this I'm special and she knows other people too. Right. So I show up at this meetup and there's all kind of people, including Larry Long Jr. And I'm like, he's like, NSA. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just joined. He's like, I just saw that last night. And I was like, oh, so now it's real.
Yeah.
And then he tells me about second Saturdays. But this is the thing. You got to listen when somebody tells you about an opportunity their
Yeah.
opening, and Natalie was so amazing and inclusive and kind to then, that led me to getting to know about Larry. And then he's inviting me to Second Saturday. And I'm like, well, of course I will. And then that was the first time um, that I had met you, but you had made that just such a welcoming and inclusive environment. You took time to like get to know my name, right? Because like it's Carolyn, but it's spelled Caroline. But like you made it's so simple. It's just so simple what it
Yeah.
takes for somebody to be feeling like they're seen or heard or valued. And I genuinely appreciate the experience that even from the first interaction and then seeing you every month since. So if anybody's looking for an MC or a speaker, or you want to have an author, or you're a coach that wants to know how to win, you, Alex, are absolutely somebody that if they can't hire you, you don't have the budget for Alex, come and see me. But they should hire you. So yeah. Now I've seen you've been doing lots of virtual presentations, some local emceeing, speaking. Like, do you have a favorite thing that you like to do?
Mm.
Coaching, emceeing, or speaking?
It varies on the day. I would say I probably love emceeing and event hosting most. I think that's the fun for me. I think that's where I get to bring the best of myself because nothing's, yes, there's a run of show, there's a game plan of like an idea of what we want, but would you know that sometimes plans don't always go how they're
Yeah.
supposed to go? Sometimes things get broken and defunct and you have to think on the fly. And I think I enjoy that piece about it the most, about just, all right, what can I come up with? What can I create? Or how do I patch this up? Or like, it's like Tetris to me. I'm like, okay, I always know what to do. And I think that's what I enjoy about it. Is like, when you're speaking, when you're doing like a full on presentation, I think of it as like, I'm the cool uncle who gets to show up like, yeah, what's up, everybody? High five. Yeah, I'm the cool guy. Say some words, pictures. All right, peace. I'm out.
Yeah.
As the MC, like, I'm dad. I'm in here from start to finish. I'm paying attention to the speakers. I'm paying attention to the timing, to the room. So just making sure the AV is good, making sure that the attendees are feeling welcome. And I think that's what I really enjoyed about Second Saturdays, is about just getting to be the host. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
welcome in. Who are you? Come sit here. Have you met this person? Right? It's something I can do all day.
So now, well, how do people work with you? How do people find you?
So you can find me at LinkedIn mainly, right? Alex Dumas. Look at the face, hear the voice. If you connect with me, you will likely receive a voice message or a video message from me. So it's not AI, it's not a bot. This is the real deal. So you can either find me there or on my website, speakeralexdumas.com. And there are just plenty of ways to invite me to your next event or your next conference. So we definitely need to talk, friends.
Awesome. And now from this vantage point, how do you define authentic success for you?
Authentic success. I'm going to go tap into old Frankie Blue Eyes, right? And just do it my way. But your wave of grace, right? Of what has built me so far has been these different rooms I've managed to find my way in. Some I recognize like, all right, I need to get out. Some like, oh, I really like how it is here, but then maybe I've overstayed my welcome. And it's not saying like you use people, mistreat them, but you just got to find your space, find your tribe. And it's been a lot of trial and error for me. And there's more rooms that I haven't even seen yet, but I think being authentic and successful means being curious enough to find that out, right? Being brave enough to know that, all right, I'm going to have to step into a community that I don't know. I don't know how they're going to receive me. Am I going to be too much? Am I going to be not enough? Or what if I just show up and I'm me and everything's going to be what it's going to be? Like, I have no control over anybody. Like, man, that Alex guy, he's freaking loud. He's obnoxious. Oh, this guy comes with weird games. He's unprofessional. Like, does he even like button his top button? Like, let's get a load of this guy. He wears sunglasses indoors. Like, weirdo. Or I can get in my head about that, or just be, you know what? I'm satisfied with who I am. I'm happy with what I do, and I like being around the people that I do it with. I think that's authentic success right there.
Oh, well, thank you so, so much, Alex, for telling more about your story and for being a guest on Your Next Success. I can't wait to continue to celebrate you and see how you grow even more, even better, even more impactful audiences. I just really appreciate all the work that you're doing. So thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you for this platform, and for your friends, your listeners out there. I have a gift for you. So Carolyn will put that in the show notes, but it's been a pleasure and an honor.
Thank you, Alex. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Thanks for listening to Your Next Success with Dr. Carolyn Sengel. Remember, authentic success is yours to define and includes aligning your career to support the life you want.